Hello everyone, welcome back to the Chub. Today I'm joined by Isaac.
Supreme Chub leader. Supreme. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I don't know why I said that.
Chub Lord.
My bad. Yes, Chub Lord.
Chub
Lord.
Lord
Chub
Supreme.
Lord.
Chub Lord Supreme.
Okay, Chub Lord Supreme.
We are without Jeremy this week, and thus we will not be talking about any movies. We will actually be talking about gaming. This is a gaming-centric episode of the Chub.
Record scratch. We're actually going to spend the next hour talking about Rogue Squadron.
But the extended universe Rogue Squadron, not the one they're working on now.
No, the one they're working on now. The one that would hurt Jeremy too much to talk about. No, yeah, video games.
Okay, so what did we want to talk about first?
Let's dive right into Cyberpunk. We've kind of put that off. You know, let us get our own reactions, our own opinions instead of regurgitating what we hear. So I think now's as good a time before the Christmas noobs dive into, you know, they're talking about it. So what went wrong? Like what obviously there are a lot of problems with the way it released, but like what specifically went wrong? Why did this happen?
Years of hype, pressure from investors.
Yeah.
Years and years and years of pressure from investors, probably saying, when are you going to release it? When are you going to release it? When are you going to release it?
Yeah.
Management saying, when are you going to release it? When is it good? When can we go on this? And honestly, it's probably for the best that they released it now, because they haven't had a game in fucking 5 years.
Yeah, what was the last one?
Witcher 3. Witcher 3. And they stopped working on the DLC for that in 2016, and that's when Cyberpunk development actually started.
Right.
So up until that point, post the reveal trailer, like 2012, I think is when the reveal trailer came out for Cyberpunk. Like, at that point, they were still conceptualizing what they wanted to do.
Right.
And then they decided to start working on it after the Witcher DLCs were finished. And I'd imagine that there was a ridiculous amount of pressure from investors, you know, considering they had already delayed it three times. And I'd imagine that they had seen all the pre-orders that they had and were just like, fuck it, we're just going to pull the trigger and screw the development team. I mean, it obviously hurt them. 'Cause, like, no development team wants to release a bad game.
Right. Certainly not an unfinished game.
No, I mean, I think it's finished. It's not optimized.
Yeah.
It's not ready. It's undercooked meat.
True. Not like raw, but
undercooked chicken.
Yeah. Gordon Ramsay is having a fit.
Yeah.
For sure.
Roll.
Fucking roll.
Fucking roll. Yeah, that's what it is. And that's seemingly how games that have any amount of multi-platform hype have released. I think the issue with multi-platform is, I guess, multi-platform and cross-gen, because I think all the problems that happened with Cyberpunk came on the base PS4 and Xbox One. And I think at some point the development team just kind of fucking forgot about it. Like, 'cause think about how many generations of GPUs that they have to make it work on.
Right. Then you add console into that.
Then you add.
I mean, that's a lot of. Yeah. That's a lot of work.
Three generations of GPUs have come out since the release of the PS4 and the Xbox One.
Right.
And you're telling me that those GPUs are better than the base gen consoles, and then you're telling me I have to optimize it for the oldest shit? Like,
that's a difficult. So it sounds to me like there's like a lot of involvement from people who maybe aren't hyper involved with games themselves. Like, investors typically aren't.
Oh no,
they're not. You don't have like this big people like us going and investing in CD Projekt Red or Cyberpunk 2077. They're suits.
Yeah,
they're suits.
Absolutely.
And just like anything, especially anything creative, is when you have people on the outside trying to rush the creative process. Because I would say that video game design is very much a creative process in the same way that painting is, or movie development is, or music is. Mm-hmm. And when you rush something like that, when you rush that process, mm-hmm. the quality of the product is greatly diminished.
Yeah.
Severely.
Yeah.
And I think we see that now. What would you say would be like a realistic time frame? Like if let's say they didn't release it.
It needed about another year.
Another year? That's kind of what I'm thinking. Even 6 months would have made a big difference.
I don't think that would have been enough. I don't think that would have been enough based on how much they're actually doing with each patch.
Yeah.
So far, like, it's really, like, seeing how slow it's been, how hard it must be to figure out specifically in this giant ass open world what's wrong and where it's wrong. Like, right. You can have so many QA testers, but the public is going to be able to find a lot more bugs than 30 QA testers is going to be able to find.
And it's hard for a game like that because everybody's playthrough is going to be different.
Yeah. I mean, especially since they have 3 different storylines.
Right. And then
essentially 3 different games in one game. It's like,
and then progression changing dialogue within those storylines. Yes. I mean, you're talking about thousands of possible, playthroughs at the end of the day. Thousands of different, sequences of events that lead to bug X or bug Y.
Oh, absolutely.
Not to mention bugs that are probably found by people just exploring. You know, not even playing a quest or doing anything specific. They're just wandering Night City.
Yeah. I mean, it goes back to it just not being a game that should be such a wide release.
Yeah.
Like, and I mean wide release is in multi-platform, multi-gen release.
Right. It felt like it was the most ready for PC.
Absolutely. I mean,
but even then, there were bugs.
Realistically, that's probably the easiest platform to develop for, since you are developing it on a PC. Yeah. You're not developing it on a PlayStation.
Right. And like, don't get me wrong. Like, the bugs suck, but like realistically, on a game that big, bugs are inevitable. It's the extent of the bugs that were
the problem.
Yeah.
Yeah. Look,
exactly.
I mean, back to just multi-gen. That's the problem. It's multi-gen. You see that all of the problems are on the oldest hardware. Mm-hmm. Like, or I guess the majority of the problems are on the oldest hardware. And I mean, I've seen people talk about show in detail like a lot of the issues with the AI in the game, and how, for example, civilians, if you're just walking around on the street and you fire a gun, well, you look one way and there's civilians, you look back and the civilians are just gone without a trace, and then you look back the other way and then they're gone from that direction as well. And it seems like they had too much to do. It seems like they had too much to do and didn't have
the time
to finish what they essentially wanted to do. Because they had a lot of ambitions with this game.
Absolutely.
And based on how much different it is than anything that they have ever done, I think that's one of the reasons people are a little more forgiving of them. Because like when, for example, Bethesda released Fallout 4 and then 76, like, they're pretty much seen as
bad guys. They're the
bad guys. They're seen as like Judas right now, turning on single player games, which is the Messiah.
Right.
They were once Jesus and they became Judas.
You were the chosen one.
Yeah, they were the chosen one because everybody saw their games and they came out with. Yeah.
You were supposed to bring balance to single-player games.
Beautiful.
Not ruin them.
Yeah, beautiful, well-crafted, no microtransactions, a few paid DLCs, sure. But that's when that shit was fine, because the amount of content you get with each paid DLC was humongous. Like, a new map and whatever.
But like going back to the ambitions, like Cyberpunk's gotten a lot of heat between what was it, November 13th that it came out, and
No, December 10th.
was it December 10th?
Yeah.
Was it really
It hasn't
only
even
like
been a month yet.
2 weeks ago?
It's 2 weeks ago.
It feels like it's been. Oh no, that was Black Ops that came out. My bad. Okay, but it's gotten a lot of slack between now and then. It got taken off the PlayStation store.
Which, I mean, rightfully so.
Right, but it's been shit on by everybody imaginable.
Yeah.
But that I would like to like go on without. I would hate to go on without acknowledging that like some of those ambitions were met. I mean, the whole game isn't horrible. It's not a bad game. It just wasn't ready.
It wasn't ready.
The way it looks beautiful. It's vibrant. It's not clunky. It's very fluid. It works. It's not like GTA where everybody's just, walking around like this.
There's a lot of issues with how Rockstar makes their games now. I mean,
but there's
one of them is the movement mechanics, but I mean, like I've seen all the same shit about Cyberpunk from the positive viewpoint. It's a well-crafted narrative.
Oh, the story it's so cool. Like there's a part probably in the first 25% of the game on the Nomad path that like literally like pulled at my heartstrings. It was so like the build up was excellent. There was a lot of like emotional attachment with this particular scene. I won't like drop any spoilers or anything, but it worked. It's been a while since like you've had a game that had that connection where it kind of like rooted itself into your experience.
Well, it's been a while since any game's narrative has actually
been good,
enhanced the experience. And from like a massive AAA release, like
and they do well. I think it works well from I don't even know how to describe it, like sensory. Like it's very visual, but there's a lot of really good audio stuff. And then there's like an emotional context that like really makes you feel invested. Kind of like you are really like living that experience without it being like VR or any shit like that. I mean, it's just a very well thought out, like you said, narrative.
It's a well crafted world.
Yes,
I guess.
And you can tell that a lot of the time that they spent developing it went there.
Yeah,
it went there, and it works.
Which is great because to establish a new IP you have to flesh out the world.
Right.
Like, especially an open world like this. Like, I think, one of the issues with a lot of the Ubisoft games is that everything is surface level.
Yeah.
Everything is boring ass side quests and XP grinds.
Dude, I haven't even touched side quests in the game yet. Like
really?
I've been doing so much of the main quest, and it works. Like on the world building stuff. You know how one of the best parts about Fallout is finding things throughout the map, throughout the world that kind of alludes to the lore or things that went on in Vault X or whatever settlement you come across or whatever town you come across. You find notes and holotapes and this, that, and the next thing that kind of depicts what happened either before the war or maybe after the fall of the bombs, but like the earlier settlements, and it's cool. It's not a quest. You don't do anything special, but it's just a little Easter egg that says like, hey, this happened. There's a lot of that in Cyberpunk. A lot of, just finding, visual Easter eggs throughout the map that kind of allude to not necessarily the world, but, kind of the dynamic of Night City, the way that, the citizens interact with each other. And
well, it feels real. Like it feels
exactly
fleshed out.
But they drop those little things that kind of, I think, add to that, make it seem more real. Not just that Night City exists, but it has a past and it has a specific dynamic. You go to New York City, people in New York City act and talk a certain way. You go to Chicago, they have their own thing. You go to Los Angeles, they have their own thing. And I think these little droplets throughout the quests or throughout just the map that are just kind of chilling You just find them. It's like the Intel system for every Call of Duty game ever. It's just little stuff like that, but it makes it so much more real that like Night City has a dynamic, and the people who live there have a dynamic, and that I think adds to the experience. And it's nothing crazy. It's just a couple sentences you read.
Yeah.
That you find on the ground. You know what I'm saying?
Well, you feel like you're immersed.
Yeah.
It's immersion.
It is, and I think they do that very well. I like that.
That's good.
That's one of the things that made some of the earlier Fallout games work so well. Not the latter two, obviously. Yeah. But playing this game, I feel very, in it. I don't feel like this sucks. I got to take a break after 40 minutes or anything like that. I could play that game for 6 hours straight if I had the time, and then be like, oh shit,
Yeah.
I just spent 6 hours playing Cyberpunk. So.
Well, it helps that I guess. I like to look at this game as I'm half critical of it. I'm half positive on it. Like, I want to be right in the middle. I want to look at it with an objective eye and be like, okay, everybody's saying that they either have positive experience with the game regardless of the bugs, or the bugs are just breaking their immersion and they can't finish it.
People aren't saying like, oh, the content within the game is bad.
Yeah, that's the thing, that the one specific thing that is consistent among every party is that the game is fucking cool.
It is. It's so cool.
But it's broken.
So I think the good news is the problems probably shine the bugs and everything that went wrong with Cyberpunk shines a light on other things that are wrong with the gaming industry at the moment, not necessarily the developers. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. I think anyone with half a brain looks at this and says like, okay, obviously like the developers have been working on this the whole time. They would not willingly release this game if there was not a pressure to release this game.
From management and investors and such. I think that's an issue with a lot of just media, period.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
Like movies, for example, like
they just want to dump something out. Yeah, they don't care. They don't put a lot into it.
Yeah, but do you think that the people that were like actually working on the movie wanted to release?
No.
Do you think the people that were working on Batman v Superman wanted to release that?
No.
Or they wanted to release Justice League in the way that Justice League was released? No, they were told by the Warner Brother executives that they had to have an Avengers-type movie now. And that's what we got.
The reason why the Avengers worked, though, is because they built in so many of those characters in their own standalone
Yes,
movies.
But DC was like, we need that now.
Yes.
Just make it. So
that was almost a rabbit hole. We dove down there.
We don't want to go. We can go down this rabbit hole eventually when we talk about the DCEU and whatever it is.
Yeah.
But right now, like single player games, the lack of monetary value, I guess, seen from investors is probably an issue, which is why single player games are in the state that they're in, with microtransactions and being rushed out the door and shit like that. Like I think that because of games making so much money, certain games making so much money, investors want every game to make that amount of money.
Correct.
So when Fortnite is still the most popular game of all time and is making billions of dollars a year,
which was a fluke. Let's be honest. What the success of Fortnite was a fluke. It was a mod. That's what it was. It was a mod. The original Fortnite.
Well, it wasn't. It wasn't a mod.
It was. It was a mod. It was originally a mod of the Save the World mode, which was Fortnite. That was the original Fortnite.
It wasn't. It's not a mod. It's just a mode that they released.
No, it was a mod, and then somebody modded it to be a battle royale, like a million. Yes.
Huh. I didn't know that.
Yes, and then they took that mod and they were like, "Oh, hey, maybe this will work."
I thought that was how PUBG was made.
I'm sure they both had a say. I'm sure PUBG had it, and then
because DayZ was what came first,
right?
And then the developers
I'm sure they followed the same. I don't think that when Fortnite came out, they were like, "Oh, we're going to be the next PUBG because it was very much it was a grindy. I don't know if you ever played the Save the World mode.
No, I never did. No,
but it was a fluke. That was supposed to be. It was like zombies in Call of Duty. It was supposed to be this side mode.
Yeah, well, I mean, they saw the popularity of Battle Royale, and they were like, "Holy shit, we should drop this." And then,
but they didn't rush it
for some fucking reason.
Most people
didn't. Popular game in the world.
Most people didn't play Battle Royales prior to Fortnite. I never played PUBG.
Now every game, and for a while there, every game had a Battle Royale.
Yeah, it's still kind of that way.
Yeah. COD is just that. That's what COD is now. COD is a battle royale.
So like, because we've been on a trend here. Fallout 4 sucked. Fallout 76 sucked. Elder Scrolls Online sucked.
Fallout 76 and Elder Scrolls Online are not single player games.
Whatever.
I think
they are a multiplayer game with a single player aspect, or with a. It's a multiplayer game targeted for single player gamers. That's what it is.
Cooperative single player. Yes. I don't know about Elder Scrolls.
It's not cooperative. It's an MMO. It's an MMO.
That doesn't really.
Fallout 76 is also an MMO. It is not cooperative.
Well, it also has to do with the whole live service thing that I've talked about extensively.
But I think
it's not on the pod. But
this is. Did we talk about?
I don't think it was on the episode that we.
I think we recorded it. We just cut it out.
It was part of the Chub Runner thing.
Yeah, that's right.
But
it's like what? So single player games, and I'm putting Elder Scrolls and I'm putting Fallout in the same or Fallout 76 and ESO in the same category because they follow all the primary dynamics of their single player predecessors.
Sure.
They were released and they were awful. They had no reason to be awful because given the prior
they had no reason to exist.
Well, that too. But what? That doesn't even matter. What needs to happen for this chain of single player shit? Because it's been shit. Cyberpunk is a good game if you take away the bugs.
Okay.
But like every other single player game that's come out in the last 4 or 5 years has been just awful. How do we break that?
Okay. I mean, I don't think you could say that every single player game.
I think all of the mainstream ones.
I think
have been awful.
I think the ones that. There's well-documented failures in single-player games recently. But
right.
I don't know that every game... Because I played God of War 2018.
God of War
awesome.
was pretty good.
Breath of the Wild, Zelda...
Okay, let me rephrase my question because I think that I'm thinking of it a different way. What multi-platform single-player game in the last 5 or 6 years has been good?
Multi-platform single-player...
Because you could argue that Spider-Man was also a good game.
Yeah, but that's not multi-platform.
Exactly. God of War, single platform.
The
Last of Us, single platform.
Exclusive games have been single-player and
better.
Except
for Xbox.
Okay, so
Xbox doesn't have any good single-player.
That's more of a failure on Microsoft Studios.
True.
All right. I think what has to happen if a company doesn't want to go platform exclusive, I think what has to happen is prioritizing the initial release of one platform.
Yeah.
Oh, well, I guess not because that would be platform exclusive. I'm saying I guess
release one and then release the other.
Release it if it's going to be a cross-gen one like this.
I think
Cyberpunk, release it on the base gen first.
Yes.
Focus on releasing it there.
So you're talking base gen, so like Xbox One and PS4 would get the same release.
Would get the same release, yes. Like Rockstar does their releases.
Yeah.
That's one thing I like about their
process.
Their process is they went, we're gonna optimize this game. We're gonna optimize Red Dead 2 for these base gen consoles,
and then move from
get
there.
it running at a smooth 30 throughout the entire campaign. Have it look great on there, and then we're gonna release it. I think a year afterwards on PC. That's exactly what they should have done with Cyberpunk.
Only PC first, because PC they didn't have the problems on PC.
Well, I think that they still should have released it on the base gen consoles first, because I guess if you look, because there was a graph I saw where it showed their pre-order totals like across PC and console had 49% of the pre-orders.
Oh, well, yeah, that's just going to be inevitable.
Yeah, so I mean, I guess you essentially split your
That's
fucking
true.
player base, which it's for a single player game that doesn't really matter, and
That's true.
You'd
That's
make
true.
half of the money that you were gonna make if you release it all at once, which goes back to the investor problem. But staggering the release is a good idea.
So what about time? Do you think that there should just be this new expectation that good games of that caliber are just going to take more time?
If you have less to develop for,
yeah,
it's easier to manage your time.
right.
If they would have had one generation of platforms to work with, not 3 generations of GPUs and then PS5 and Xbox Series X.
My concern with that is that if they do that, if they, let's say they're released for Xbox One and PS4 and it's a success, well, investors and business people in general are going to look at that success and instantly say, what's next? What's the next thing to work on?
No.
Big story. And I think that would cause... I disagree, because that's what people always want to know. They're like, okay, this one made us money. Start working on the next thing. Start working on Cyberpunk 2078.
No, because I think based on their pre-order numbers...
And then you just get... But then you just get a port for all the other consoles instead of...
No. See,
I don't know.
The proper way of doing things now...
No. I'm saying that would be the proper way. What you're saying would be the proper way.
Yeah.
But I'm playing devil's advocate and
you're in the ship of it would be a port.
I'm asking from the perspective of the greedy investor, the greedy businessman.
Well, okay, to satisfy those greedy businessmen, you need a game that's constantly making money for them.
Right.
You need your Rainbow Six Siege. You need your fucking...
How much money do you think Rainbow Six
Apex
Siege
Legends
brings into?
It made like $420 million last year.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
How?
Because of microtransactions, bro.
That's crazy.
And it's the only game of its kind.
All 12 people that play that game.
No, there's 100,000 people on Steam probably right now playing the game. That's just Steam. Anyways, you need your Apex Legends. You need your Fortnite. This is Epic Games could literally do anything now. They could have a live, which I think they do. They have a live team on Fortnite, and they're working on other shit. Like,
well, and let's not just pretend like it's Fortnite. Like Rocket League has to bring in a large.
Well,
sum of money for them. That
wasn't Epic Games initially.
No, but they own it now.
I'm saying they need that Fortnite. So CD Projekt Red to have little pressure from investors to make them money needs to have that Fortnite. They need to have that Apex Legends. They need to have that Warzone.
So to counter that though, I would say that's what Bethesda tried to do with Fallout 76.
No. But Bethesda had already had. If they would have not botched Elder Scrolls Online, when it came out,
I heard it's good now.
I mean, I heard it's good now as well. Same with 76. I heard it's tolerable now. So
tolerable.
Yeah,
and that's where our expectations have gone.
Yeah,
is it a good game? It's tolerable.
Yeah, but it wasn't. It's just the problem with live service. It's like Destiny now is good.
Yeah. Destiny
initially was bad. It had a good hook. It had a good gameplay loop, but there was nothing to do.
But I think so. This is the argument that I have in favor of live service, because I think it can work. It's just like everyone who's tried to implement it has done it poorly
because of the investors. Right. Actually, more it's been issues with publishers. It's not.
But they need to make money constantly.
Yeah, right? Exactly.
To counter that, like single player games, if you want it to be a good game with like roughly 30 to 40 hours of gameplay in the main quest minimum, I would say that would be a good standard. When you think about good single player games, they have a thick with 2 C's invested story.
Fat ass story.
Yeah, a fat ass story. But inevitably, a bigger story with a bigger world is going to take more time. So they either have to find a way. Listen, microtransactions, we can just dive right in there. They suck in shit like Call of Duty. You tell me I gotta spend microtransaction money in Call of Duty, I'm gonna tell you to go fuck yourself. Because it's just not going to happen. Because the next game is going to come out next year. And all the stuff I spent money on, I'm not going to give a shit about.
that yearly release schedule for COD is just it just doesn't work.
Awful.
Like, you can't do that anymore because people have shown that they're okay to stick with a game for fucking ever because of Fortnite. Like, people have been playing that game for 4 years now.
But here's the thing that Call of Duty got right, that I think that we are going to start to see and should see shift into single player gaming, and that is the free DLC. I think that is just an awesome...
Because they don't need the money from the DLC packs anymore because they make it all in the microtransactions.
Right. So let's say you have a game like Cyberpunk. The base game is whatever, 40 hours. We'll call it 40. Sure. I'm hearing like 25 to 30.
If you run straight through.
But I'm a slow gamer. It's going to take me 40. Like, just
slow in more than one way.
Yes. I'm dumb. It's gonna take me, a person like me, 40 hours. And again, I represent a majority in gaming.
A girl like you.
Yes, someone like me. And that majority is the casual gamer, somebody who doesn't, who gets invested, but not to the point where they have 8 hours a day.
Yeah, they don't have time to 100%.
Right. So someone like me,
don't want to.
40 hours. So instead of, okay, that 40 hours is up, the game cycle is complete, move on to the next project. Mm-hmm. So keeping live service as well. You need to have, like what Fortnite has, a live service team that continues to work on the game, releases DLCs, story-based, content-based DLCs over the course of the next however many years. Lots of years. Look at Dying Light. They still release content for that game. It's not free, but they are still releasing content for that game while supposedly working on Dying Light 2. Although I have some theories about why they have been delayed. Yes.
Dying Light 2 is a myth.
It is. It is.
And so is Dead Island 2. I don't know if you ever saw that.
I heard that actually recently got a development update.
Because there was a reveal trailer and then nothing.
Well, okay, so then...
The reveal trailer was like 2017.
You had like Dying Light, and then you had rumors about Dying Light 2... Or no, you had Dead Island, and then rumors about Dead Island 2, and then Dead Island Riptide came out, which was not... They charged like full game price for it, but it was really just a DLC for Dying Light. And then you had people talking about Dead Island 2. Well, then one of the companies that was working on Dead Island 2 released, Switch. I don't remember which one. Techland, yes. Techland. And released Dying Light, and everybody thought, okay, well, Dying Light is Dead Island 2.
Wait, I think
in a way,
Techland was the publisher.
Deep Silver
was the publisher. Yeah. Techland was the developer.
Yeah. Either way, but what I'm saying is if you have those free DLCs over a longer period of time, so people are playing that game.
Think, Isaac.
They're playing that game for three fucking years before they are finally done releasing that game. People aren't going to care if they got to wait 8 years because 3 of those are already out of the way. Yeah. And you're waiting five more years for a good game.
People are not as
patient as we should be.
As patient as I think. Well, I mean, that's by the investors.
So to counter that, in order for these games to get more successful and drop some of these problems of rushing it out the door, I think some of the responsibility falls on us to not be like, well, they said Dying Light was going to come out in 2018.
No, I think that it's primarily on the investors.
I think it's primarily on the investors.
I don't think that,
but there's not.
I don't think that this is on.
I think there has to be a portion, not a large portion.
I think this is not on the consumers at all.
Consumer mentality, dude. I'm telling you right now, is worse now than it ever has been.
Yeah,
and ever
we've
will
been stuck inside for.
Do you know what those shitty investors are studying? When they force CD Projekt Red to rush that game out,
consumer interest.
Dude.
Consumer interest.
So if we're not patient, they're not going to be patient in turn. If we're sitting here throwing a fit, if the sweats on Reddit are sitting here pitching a fit
I'm telling you, man, I don't think that those dumbass suits pay attention to Reddit. They don't pay attention to Reddit.
I'm not saying
they don't pay
I'm
attention.
not saying Reddit, but Reddit represents not Reddit specifically, but the people on Reddit are representative of the same focus groups that those investors are looking at, because they are a vocal group. If somebody sent you a survey, let me rephrase that. If somebody sent me a survey asking about how I felt about CD Projekt Red and how much time they were taking, I would not answer the survey, because I don't fucking care.
Yeah, you don't care.
I don't care, and I don't have time for it. But do you know who is going to answer that consumer survey?
The Reddit
people. The Reddit sweats, dude. Yeah. I'm telling you, that's what those investors are looking at.
I don't know, though,
it
man.
Is.
I don't think...
You can,
I know. I don't think that it...
You can say that about anything. Do you want to know why the DC movies are so bad? Because those investors are saying, well... These guys want this, and we have proof to show. We have quantifiable evidence. We have qualitative evidence to say, look, this is how many people answered this survey. This is what they want. Or stupid shit. Look at these tweets. Look at what people are tweeting. And people on Twitter are stupid.
Yeah.
85% of the people are spitting. Dude, Cody Rhodes listed The Last Jedi. Do you know how many WWE rednecks quoted that and said...
what did he list it as?
Number 2 of his favorite Star Wars movie. Well, number 2. Okay. I will give him credit because he did get it right in saying Empire was number 1.
Which is weird that he got that right.
Oh, it's weird that he got that right.
But the other thing's so wrong.
Yeah. It went like Empire... The Last Jedi, Revenge of the Sith, Jedi, Return of the Jedi, and then like all the other ones below that.
Listen, I think we got a bit off track.
We did. I'm just saying consumerism is what consumer activity is what those investors are looking
drives investor interest. Yeah.
I'm not saying that it's like a 50% share of responsibility. It's definitely 90% on the investors.
Yeah.
But we still got to own up to our own 10% and stop being sweaty Reddit noobs.
I mean, yeah. I think that maybe going back to what went wrong with Cyberpunk, I think maybe revealing a game 8 years before its release was probably not a good idea.
Probably not, but like again, to play devil's advocate and strictly devil's advocate, if I'm a consumer, like why would you not want to be able to say like, hey, this is what we're working on? No idea when
they weren't working on it though. They were like, we thought of this.
But that's fine.
This is a thing we thought of.
That's fine. I think as a creator, whether you're a musician or a game designer or a movie producer or whatever, you should be able to share your ideas publicly and vocally without everybody getting down your throat about when it's going to come out. But we are all about, our society in general is all about instant gratifications. If we want something, we want it right now. Not 6 months from now, not a year from now. And we don't care that, logically speaking, it takes that long to develop a good game. Not develop a game, but to develop a good game. We don't care. All that goes out the window. Because those people who are like, well, when's it going to be ready? You say, 6 years. And they say, well, Call of Duty releases a game every year. Because they don't care that Call of Duty is not a good video game. Yeah. In the realm of games.
They care that it makes money.
They care that it makes money, and they care that it keeps them interested by releasing a new game every single year. And that is what investors and businessmen across the board in the entertainment industry look at. It's why we're seeing a decrease in releases of good movies. Dude, good movies don't come out that often anymore. Good TV shows, the same thing. Any network TV show or TV company, Fox, CBS, ABC, is just producing 90% garbage.
Hold on. Good creative movies don't come out anymore, I would say.
I would say good movies in general don't come out often.
I mean, you could say that
often. A few a year.
Yeah.
But think about the amount of movies in general that come out a year to only have a few good ones.
Think about the amount of like trash movies came out in the 90s in theaters for like 10 minutes.
Right.
And then I think it's the same. I just think that there's more of one type of movie now.
Right, but what I'm saying is like they're just producing fluff. Music has to be like the biggest indicator of this because like.
Well, I also think
they put
one
out
of those
catchy
things...
bullshit that isn't even like real music, just because it'll make it sounds catchy on the radio.
Well, going back to games in that aspect, it's like, what the fuck were they doing the past 3 years? Every other month was a new battle royale game that was early access and whatever. Like, that's the trend.
But how many of those battle royales ended up being good? Very few of them. Pretty sure Battlefield had a battle royale.
It did.
Did that game?
Firestorm.
Yeah. Did that end up being good?
No.
No.
Well, I mean, that was a problem with Battlefield 5's release and EA wanting...
EA wanting listen, Battlefield. We can do a whole episode about EA.
Well, we fucking can right now. But anyways, EA wanted Battlefield to be their Call of Duty. They tried to do that with having multiple developers. Mm-hmm. Instead of just DICE, they had Visceral before they shut Visceral down. Yeah. They wanted money yearly for Battlefield. That's what they wanted. They saw player interest go down, like the player count would drop, and they were like, we gotta fucking get shit out every year now. Right. Didn't work, whatever.
But logically...
But this goes back to my point about CD Projekt Red needing to have that Fortnite, that Call of Duty, that thing that they can release and make money off of to get less pressure from investors.
But what's it going to be? Because it's not going to be...
I mean, that's just the trend in gaming right now because of investor pressure. They need that constant stream of money because CD Projekt Red was probably pulling in nothing at the time of Cyberpunk's release. They were probably pulling in absolutely nothing because they haven't released a game in 5 years.
Do you know what they need? All these game developers, Bethesda, CD Projekt Red, more Bethesda. You know what they need? They need hold your applause. They need a Star Wars: The Old Republic. That's what they need.
An MMO.
Yeah, but a good MMO, not a limited
constant stream of money.
Yes.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Okay, but then you have Bethesda who's like, we need this, and then they release it, and it's fucking garbage. It's garbage.
That's because they don't have a true idea of what they want to accomplish with it. They just want to release it and make money off of it.
But I can't imagine that they made money off of it because they had to issue refunds. I don't know about Elder Scrolls Online, but for Fallout 76,
they did have to issue refunds
to the point where it's now free. It is now a free game.
It's a free-to-play game with a $12 a month subscription fee.
Only if you choose to use it.
Only if you choose to use it.
But you can only store like 12 things if you don't use it. Seriously, it's ridiculous.
So
like you can't. There's no storage if you don't pay.
That's so fucking dumb, dude. We could go on forever about fucking Fallout 76.
I think at the end of the day, you just got to take corporate greed out of the equation.
You can't.
I know you can't. But
in a capitalist society, you can't.
Well, we're about to be socialist.
Are we?
Probably.
Are we for sure?
That's what Fox News keeps telling me.
That's all I watch.
That's where my boy Donald Trump
That's all I fucking watch. I only watch Bill O'Reilly. He's not on TV anymore. I watch old runs of Bill O'Reilly's show.
I want to blow my load on Tucker Carlson's face.
And his bow tie?
Yes.
His dumbass bow tie.
Does
he wear a tie now? I swear he still wears a bow tie. Which fucking...
I don't know.
It's 2020. Stop wearing a bow tie.
All right, hold up. Bow ties are cool.
No, they're not.
Classy. They're
not.
Unique. No. And they don't get in the way.
He looks kind of autistic.
You can't...
Tell me he doesn't.
He does.
He looks like he has Asperger's.
I'm saying he does, but like realistically, this just got.
He looks like they'd make a show about him called the Good Reporter.
Okay, but that's just Republicans in general, dude. Have you ever seen Jim Banks? Jim Banks is our state representative, and he always looks. I'm Jim Banks.
I've let Christianity influence my every whim.
That's right. Separation. When we said separation of church and state, we meant your church, not ours.
Not our
Not ours. Just them Jews.
We want to teach creationism in the schools.
That's right.
All right. Well, I guess on the topic of Cyberpunk, I think we've exhausted pretty much all we can talk about it. Where it's a good game released in a bad state. I think that's probably the best summation of what it is. It's a good game released in a bad state.
Yeah,
So,
I agree with that. It'll be, I think, what will ultimately iron out the legacy of this game in general is what they do from here. What do they do? What do they do?
I think people's view of CD Projekt Red, and I'm saying the general public's view of CD Projekt Red, probably went down a bit.
Well, yeah.
Went down a little bit.
Well, people like to knee jerk. They're like, well, it's
Absolutely.
buggy, but I haven't.
Absolutely.
I know I haven't played the game. But.
Yeah, I haven't played it. I've just been watching all this shit happen,
and that's
being
fine.
Like,
but you're not out here saying it's an awful garbage game and fuck CD Projekt
I still
Red. And
I can see through the cracks, and I like to look at it and
you can think
as
for
objectively
yourself.
as possible.
Yeah.
I don't like to get angry at people who definitely had no influence upon its release, like this developers. They didn't
stay
fucking
off Reddit.
Yeah. Yeah. Those people sending fucking death threats to developers and shit. Like they didn't fucking
Sweaty
do that.
Boys 69.
Yeah. Stop it, Reddit.
Yeah.
It's not their fault. It's your fault.
It is.
Partially.
You loud mouth.
I think that I'm excited to play it still, and I'm waiting until it is the game that they want me to play.
I don't know that it'll ever get there.
I think it will.
I think it'll be much better.
I think Witcher. Yeah, the Witcher released DLCs up to like a year and a half after its release.
I think that's what's going to happen. So first of all, they need to get some of these bugs ironed out before DLC 1.
Absolutely.
They should not release a DLC for this game.
I think
in its current state.
I think a way for them to get back in the good graces of the people like free shit. I think the first DLC, you should.
I think they're already. I think even before release, they were saying that first DLC was going to be free.
Well, yeah, and then that they're also we're conceptualizing a multiplayer aspect.
Should be cool.
Which would be PvP, I think they said. But anyways,
I don't know about
people
how PvP
love
would work, but
free shit.
Yeah,
people love free shit. Everybody loves free shit. Nobody gets mad about free shit. Some idiot on Reddit might get mad that it's not.
I was gonna say
that it's not a certain amount.
You should find out Reddit.
That it's not a certain amount of free shit or something specifically that they wanted. But just give something to the people for free. You'll get your brownie points with the people, which is kind of who they need to be sucking up to right now.
Absolutely.
But I think it'll work itself out. CD Projekt Red has 4 major releases under their belt now.
Yeah. What are the other 2?
I guess I don't know if I would call Witcher 1 and 2 like major releases.
I was gonna say
the third one was a truly like AAA title.
Yeah.
And Cyberpunk is their only other IP besides The Witcher.
Right.
I guess initially they were they worked on ports for Polish ports of games. So they would work on the Polish versions of games, and that's it.
Interesting.
And then they released The Witcher in 2009, I want to say.
The original, like The Witcher?
The original
Witcher.
The Witcher.
The
Witcher game. Brought to you by the books.
That's right.
Henry Cavill's The Witcher.
Yes. Henry Cavill actually modeled for Geralt.
No, he didn't.
Yeah, you're right.
All right.
He would have been like... He probably wouldn't have even been buff at the time. It would have been like frail-ass 20-year-old Henry Cavill.
Not on steroids yet. Yeah. So, basically, CD Projekt Red is the perfect company. Never done anything wrong.
Well, except for the things they did.
They've never done anything wrong.
Yes.
Bethesda...
Those war crimes are a myth.
...is also the perfect company.
No.
I will always buy Bethesda
Todd
games.
Howard. I want to RKO Todd Howard.
Bethesda games day one. Day one, I want them. I buy them day one. I'm a consumer and I cannot wait for this stuff. No. I must have it day one. Thank you, Todd Howard.
Todd Howard can kiss my ass.
He's awful.
Dude, the next Elder Scrolls game I think is going to be... I think people are going to quickly forget about the problems that Cyberpunk 2077 had among the release of Elder Scrolls 6.
I think Elder Scrolls 6 is going to be garbage.
I think it's just going to be Fallout 4 with more swords. I liked it.
I thought the gameplay was better than Fallout 3 New Vegas, only because it wasn't as clunky. It wasn't as clunky.
Just sucked.
The story was garbage, and the world wasn't like boring. It was boring. Fallout 3 New Vegas, their worlds were like captivating. I was like, this is cool. This feels immersive. I was immersed.
Yeah.
I think that has to do with, me not speaking the dialogue in such a weird and like
I think
poorly recorded way.
So like I think the reason that they ended up being so cool is because like New Vegas used Vegas. Vegas itself is a cool place. Washington D.C. in that realm was cool because you recognized a lot of it. You could go to the Lincoln Memorial. Boston, as somebody who I've been to Boston, like there's some cool shit. But
I don't remember anything from Fallout 4. Like, I can't...
They had the Freedom Trail, which was nice.
Cool.
But, like, Boston just was not... I never understood why of all the places they could have taken a Fallout franchise game and why Boston of all places.
Socks.
No.
The sock. Fenway.
But you could have done that in a number of places. You could have done that in New York and had Yankee Stadium.
Man, I don't know.
You could have gone out West Coast.
I just think that...
West Coast.
I just think that, it was just a misstep. I hope it was a misstep, and I hope that...
I'm not holding my breath.
Maybe they learned from it.
Todd Howard has to earn my trust.
I don't think that anything Todd Howard says is true.
No.
It just works.
You know what the best Fallout game is post Fallout New Vegas? Fallout Shelter.
That's not a fucking Fallout game.
It's a Fallout game.
No,
dude.
it's
and it's
not.
good. It's fun.
It's a fucking mobile game.
It works.
It just works. No, that game was... I played it a little bit. It was okay for a mobile game.
It was a good old time. It was a grand old flag.
So basically...
I guarantee you they're making a lot of money off microtransactions off that game.
Probably not anymore.
You would be surprised. That game still gets updated. Like,
does it?
Yes. I've spent $1 or $2.
Oof. Wow.
They've got a couple of my monies.
Well, there's your example. Fucking release a mobile game that's going to make a shit ton of money for investors.
I wish mobile games would make a comeback. Like fun mobile games like Angry Birds. Bro, Angry Birds was like it was cool. It did
have a sequel that just came out.
Did? Yeah, right, but it's not the same. But I'm not talking like
the same game.
But it wasn't the same. There wasn't the same atmosphere around it.
I mean, you're talking about like the community atmosphere, like the
just listen.
Public, the public.
They just
public
need,
eye.
They just need a mobile game. I don't know.
They definitely just released the new Angry Birds.
No, we need to remaster.
Oh yeah, we do.
The original Angry Birds.
Angry Birds HD.
Yes.
All right. Well, I guess we kind of exhausted the Cyberpunk topic.
Yeah.
As far as I can tell, I think we could talk a bit about what was the next topic.
Well, we kind of covered all of our topics actually in the realm of that because we
shouldn't talk about skill-based matchmaking.
We can. Evan and his hatred for skill-based matchmaking.
I don't have a hatred for it.
This is actually an interesting bit to do with just the two of us because I know Jeremy probably wouldn't have much to say about it just because he doesn't really play it.
Well, and when he does play multiplayer games, if he's not, I think he more than most people gets a bit ragey at multiplayer games
I
that are
refuse to
competitive.
believe that.
Do you?
Okay, but the reason why it's an interesting dynamic is because like we represent two opposite ends of the spectrum. You are a competitive player.
Yeah.
And I am a casual player.
Mm-hmm.
Extremely, on both ends. So, the thing about skill-based matchmaking is it's catered to me. Because I'm the best.
Okay. Yeah. Because you're the best in your skill level.
Yes.
But if you go above that skill level slightly, you'll just shit the bed.
But then I'll get right back down to the noobs.
And you won't have a good time, and you don't want to get better.
The reason why people... I can speak... Let's just talk about Call of Duty. The reason why people don't like skill-based matchmaking in Call of Duty is because they can't go 83-2 against Christmas noobs anymore. That's what people don't like about it.
Yeah.
It has nothing to do with anything else other than they can't be overly good about it. I can't speak for a lot of other games, but if you're in your 20s and you're still so sweaty about Call of Duty that you have to get angry about not being able to shit on 12-year-olds in a video game, I got some questions for you.
I think that there's another aspect to that. It's like if you're any good at a game like Call of Duty, if you're
okay, but here's
if you're kind of okay, like let's say your kill death ratio is 1.2,
but it's not based on your KD anymore.
Yes, but it's loosely based on your overall performance,
right?
Which is, your KD is in COD. Your KD is pretty much your overall performance. Like most people don't play domination, objective based game mode. They play team.
But it's performance based.
It's performance based.
It's not. It's per your last game, not per your career.
Okay, so let's say you're kind of good at COD and you're just chilling.
Yeah.
Like you're chilling. You're trying to play some public matches, pubs, as I recently heard that people started calling them.
Chubs.
Trying to play some chubs.
Yeah.
And you get on and you're like just getting slammed.
Yeah.
Because, you're kind of good, but you're not God tier. And you're just getting slammed. Like, but that's not fun.
Right, which is why it exists, because then you don't get slammed next game. This is what people don't like. This is the connotation about it. The comp players instantly throw in I'm basically being punished for being good at the game. Which is just such a shitty, get off your high horse there, Kyle. Go drink a Monster, you'll be fine.
Play comp.
But here's the thing about it. You're not. Because you might go into a higher tier in the skill-based matchmaking realm and go 20-16. Let's say you still go positive, but not as positive as you normally do. Okay, well, me, who's not as good, just got put in the lowest tier. I did not go 40-3. I went 20-16 because I am equally not very good at COD. Mm-hmm. So it does balance out, but people in this tier think that they're missing out on down here. They think that we are getting bumped down to down here and then going 63-0, which is just not true.
I mean, you guys kind of do.
I know. I don't.
Like not you specifically.
I promise I do.
But I'm saying that player who's kind of good is actually getting punished because he can't play
because they're going to end up with it's not the two tiers. You're not either in the good people or the bad people.
If
you're in the moderately okay group of people, you're going to end up with the other moderately okay people.
Yeah, but those people are going to constantly go here to here.
Well, that's
to good and then
that's their fault.
Awful
commit
players.
Or don't commit. Bitch, this is a life of.
But I mean, it shouldn't be so. I don't know, kind of.
I understand what you're saying, but this is what I'm going to come back to. The people like me, the casual players, the ones who aren't very good about it, don't spend a lot of time in it. We are the majority. We make up more of the regular players. And I'll say regular players that play the game, let's call it 3 times a week. For any given amount of time, they play the game 3 times a week.
Bro, I don't think that's the majority of the people who play this game.
It is. But
because
people,
I feel like,
no. Especially with Call of Duty, because comp Call of Duty has been out the window years ago. As soon as PUBG and esports took over, Call of Duty really shit the bed because they just have no business being in any of those games.
Because it's not an interesting
sport. It is a majority. Think of it again to take the perspective of a businessman. If the casual player base is not the majority, there's no reason for me to be marketing my game to their specifications. None. 0. But they're going to make the most money off of me because there's more of me than there are of God tier 63-0. Do you personally know more people? Well, and this is probably a bad example because I feel like you're more invested in the multiplayer.
No, do you know more people? I know where you're going with this.
Do you know more people who are good at COD or more people who are meh at COD?
I know more people who are meh at COD.
Exactly.
I mean, I wouldn't say that they're good or bad.
But meh.
They're
Yeah. And I think that's just always going to be.
I think a better comparison or better analogy would be like, do you know more people who play COD more than fucking like 8 hours a
right,
week,
but some people who were good at COD 8 years ago can pick up Black Ops and be good at Black Ops, because Black Ops plays very much like the original Black Ops.
Mm-hmm.
It feels very, very much the same. That's a skill that you don't really just lose. It's not Call of Duty is not a game.
Well, because it's never changed.
It's not like
the core of it's never changed.
Yeah, it's not like Fortnite where you have to like actually put time into it to be good. If you're good at Call of Duty, you're just good at Call of Duty.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter if you were good at Modern Warfare 2, Call of Duty Ghosts, Advanced Warfare. The problem with it is that it can't be. You can't go about it releasing games that are specifically for casuals. And you can't go about it making games that are specifically for comp players. Because if you separate the group...
I think,
If you separate the group, you're just not going to make any money.
I think we brought up Siege earlier. And I think that's the perfect example of a game that was made for comp people.
Right.
That is, honestly, in all, like, measures of the word failing, I think it is failing.
Right.
I think like,
but it wouldn't be failing if they could get more attention onto it. Which anybody who's investing money, if you're an investor, if you're saying I'm going to invest in, you're not going to invest in Rainbow Six Siege because the player base is so small compared to other things. You're not going to say devote this much time to Siege because you don't have the player base for it, because there's no appeal for casuals. I will never play again in my life Rainbow Six Siege because it just doesn't. Like it's something that you have to work at.
There's no casual.
No.
In
they have
Siege.
ranked and unranked.
It's there's quick match.
So I
think
used
to be called casual, but Siege, like I said, can't be played.
You fucking casual.
Exactly. Siege cannot be played casually.
Right, because
you can't
because
I
what
can't tell
those
you
quick
now,
matches. Who's using those quick matches to practice a little bit before they jumped into the ranked lobby?
Yeah,
the fucking ranked players.
Yeah, I mean, there's.
So I think you have
Siege is a game that's built to reward the people who can play it for fucking 8 hours a day.
Yes,
like it's like Fortnite is.
Yeah,
it's like, you know, all those fucking battle royale games are. If you learn the call outs, you play the game for fucking 8 hours a day.
So this is what it is. So you have Call of Duty on this end of the spectrum, and you have Siege on this end of the spectrum. It's Call of Duty using skill-based matchmaking to appeal to casual players. Siege pretty much marketing themselves exclusively to comp players. You need something in the middle. Something that is a game that has something for the casual, a first-person shooter, multiplayer shooter that has something for the casual and something for the competitive. Basically, you need Call of Duty with ranked is what you need.
I think I'm gonna be honest. I feel like Valorant has done a pretty fucking good.
Valorant.
Like I've been playing that recently,
but it's grindy. It's grindy to be good at.
I hate CS:GO. Not really.
Everything I've heard.
Not really. I mean, you just gotta be able to shoot. Like really, like that's all it is.
I think you underestimate what some of us casuals struggle with.
There's
shooting being one of many.
This goes to one of my points about casual gamers caring about competitive games.
I care about it, but not enough to like.
It doesn't like if you're. What does it matter if you're playing a game casually? What the fuck do you care about how well you're doing?
Well, because it still affects how much fun you're having. If you're not doing well, it doesn't matter if you're playing competitively or casually. You're definitely not having fun dying 80 times. You just aren't.
I mean, yeah, I guess that's
And if you do have fun dying 80 times, there's a fun little game for you.
It's called Dark Souls,
yeah.
Bloodborne, Demon Souls.
Yes. Sekiro? Would you put Sekiro in that?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay,
Sekiro's harder than Dark Souls and Demon Souls because those games. There's not really a skill level to them.
It's just hard.
there's a knowledge level, and then there's a like experience level, and then like. But in Sekiro, it's like I can level up as much as I fucking want to, but if I don't know how to parry or play the game well, I'm gonna fucking hate the game and I did. Like I love the world that it is.
Yeah.
but I hate the game because it's so fucking hard.
That's how I
I'm
felt
dying
about
80
Dark
times.
Souls. Yeah. But so that goes back to it though. Dying that much takes away from your experience with the game.
I don't know. I think that those people can enjoy other aspects of the game though. Like they don't have to play the multiplayer. Like just fucking don't play it.
But it's just like, okay, what? So the number one thing that makes a game fun is your success in said game. That's number one. What's the number two aspect that makes games more fun? It has nothing. It's not complicated. It's not anything abnormal. But it's why Call of Duty multiplayer is more fun than the campaign. Why is it?
Co-op?
Yeah, you can play with your fucking friends.
Yeah.
Nobody wants to play Valorant by themselves.
Yeah.
Nobody's going to say, I'm going to play Valorant.
I mean, you can. Yeah,
you
there
can,
are people who want to play it by
people
themselves.
like me aren't. People like me are not going to play Valorant if there's not other people that I know to play with.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I play Call of Duty. I wouldn't spend a dime on... Well, I'll take this Call... If there's a Call of Duty that comes out without zombies, because that's pretty much all I bought Black Ops for.
Yeah.
If there's a game that comes out...
You haven't played it since.
Yeah, I have. I still play zombies.
Do
I just
you?
played zombies yesterday. And the day before that.
You still play the same map, bro. Like, this COD is fucking boring.
I just do different things every time.
This COD,
zombies is something
COD is
that's
extremely disappointing to me.
Well, but you're not... It's not... You've been playing Siege for what, like a couple years now?
No.
A year?
Like, not even.
Okay, so, but like
Siege, 7 months.
Siege has piqued your interest. This Call of Duty is the same as fucking Black Ops was. People love Black Ops.
It's the same as... No, it's not the same as Black Ops. It's the same as Modern Warfare.
It's pretty much the same.
It's the same as Modern Warfare. It's not the same. Black Ops 4 was completely different.
Modern Warfare didn't have a popular side mode.
Warzone.
But Black Ops has Warzone. But Modern Warfare didn't have the zombies factor. You had Spec Ops, but who fucking plays Spec Ops?
Well, nobody did because the fucking...
it was bad.
The wave-based mode was exclusive to PlayStation.
Right.
People didn't want to play that shit.
Yeah.
Because nobody... I mean, I guess... I don't know how many... Probably mostly console players play COD, but... anyways.
But it's fun. But zombies has always been a thing where it's like... You kind of have to like make your own fun. Because it's always going to be the same boring map. Yeah, we got one boring map,
they tried
but
to
it's bigger.
They tried to add objectives and stuff to this one, but honestly, it just
works. You can play with the objectives. There are Easter eggs. There's a...
It's just this one. It's something's wrong with it to me.
I think it's just personal preference.
I don't know if it's maybe just the Modern Warfare engine that I don't like, because I really don't like the Modern Warfare engine.
Because I've been playing zombies since World at War, since the beginning. This is my favorite. The gameplay. I think fantastic.
You know what's missing for me is the characters.
And
I think the characters like, I liked hearing. Now this obviously
they needed to break away, and not to say that they're not gonna move to that. You gotta remember, like when zombies first came out, there was no witty banter amongst, at least not in Nocturne Toten. Like this is very much they said we're trying something new. This is an experiment. This is not going to be the permanent future of zombies.
I don't think that they're trying. No, I just think that this is something that they threw together because this is COD we're talking about. This was made in a year and a half.
They've been working on this at least, maybe not like the visual aspects of it that were related to the Modern Warfare engine, but the content itself they've been working on since the end of Black Ops 4. I promise.
A year and a half.
The end of Black Ops 4. Black Ops 4.
2 years, I guess.
Black Ops 4, that's almost 3 years.
Black Ops 4 came out in 2018, dude.
That's like 3 years, almost.
No.
Some change.
No. 2 years, bro.
2018 plus 2020, carry the one, that's 3 years.
3 years, okay. So if we go by your math, that's 3 years.
Yeah.
When actually it's not. It's 2 years.
Regardless.
But I'm saying that this game, COD has no integrity.
No.
And it hasn't since they've made it a yearly release thing. And
like the beginning.
I guess the beginning, yeah.
That's pretty much since World at War. Because you had like COD 1 and then the big red one. COD 3 is still one of my favorites.
Yeah.
COD 3 was fun as fuck. Sometimes I think about going back and playing it because it still
I
has
don't
servers.
remember my time with any of those old CODs.
It was basic.
I remember World at War. I remember seeing that zombies cutscene for the first time, being like, "Oh,
it was a basic.
I did something."
It was a basic ass like modern war. It was a basic ass World War II like ground war type game. You would have big lobbies. It would be like a 45-minute match.
Like Cold War or
COD
Call of Duty 3?
Yeah, dude.
You played the multiplayer in that game?
Yeah, man.
I never fucking...
Oh, it was so fun.
I never even...
It was fun.
Knew that there was... That was at a time when I didn't know multiplayer games existed.
Yeah. That was the first Call of Duty game I owned.
Was it on 360?
Yep.
Huh.
Pretty sure it's backwards compatible now.
I think I might have played it on 360 as well.
It's a good old fun game. And the campaign was good too. The campaign was good too.
COD campaigns, like old World War II campaigns were all good.
Yeah.
Like they were fun to play. There was a game called Shell Shock that I played.
Bro, I still play Shell Shock.
That game's cool.
Yeah.
That game was fucking cool, dude. I remember like being scared.
Yeah.
Because of that game. And the zombies in that game were fucking terrifying. Yeah. I don't know what maybe it was the fact that they were like so like ghoulish.
Yeah.
I think. But anyways, getting a bit sidetracked.
I think it's just one of those things like you're not going to make
skill-based matchmaking.
You're not going to make both groups happy unless you make a game that has aspects of both things. And Call of Duty is going to stick their feet in the mud and say, me, I'm not doing that. And then Rainbow Six and likewise competitors are going to stick their feet in the mud and say, me, I'm not doing that. And then we're going to have the same conversation for like 8 years. That's what it's going to be.
Yeah.
I think what's happened, because things tend to repeat themselves. What's happening with single player gaming right now will resolve itself eventually. Mm-hmm. Eventually, it will. Mm-hmm. Just it's inevitable.
Well, I mean, you're complaining about multi-platform shit forever. I mean, you have games like the console exclusives from Sony that have
been fantastic,
knocking it out of the park every single time.
Exactly, and eventually other developers are gonna take to that, and it's gonna be, important. But anyway, so you're gonna have that resolve itself, and then multiplayer gaming is gonna be the new problem. It's gonna be the new problem.
I mean, it's not the new problem. It's always been.
Well,
it's been a problem since the introduction of microtransactions. The introduction of
but I don't think microtransactions have to be bad. I think they have their place. They
allow for free content to be released.
Their place needs to be in maintaining a game's lifespan for longer than a year. Yeah, is what it needs to be.
I think they're settling into that.
Yeah, I agree 100%. But that is not going to be the future problem of.
I think that the introduction of like microtransactions in strictly single player games that aid in progression is a problem, though.
Oh, absolutely. Pay to win is a problem.
I'm talking about single player, not pay to win.
I would say it's still play to win. Pay to win
faster.
Yes.
But
what do they do that in? What single player game
actually
has
Assassin's Creed.
Really?
The newest both.
Do they count?
Recent Assassin's Creed. I mean, Ubisoft sucks as a development company because they just constantly copy off of other. Yeah. Like the Immortals Phoenix Rising game that just came out
is literally just Breath of the Wild.
Is apparently Breath of the Wild, but yeah,
I've heard good things about it though.
I have as well, specifically the writing, which is cool. But anyways, the two most recent Assassin's Creeds, Valhalla and Odyssey, have both had XP boosts that came out after the fact because they intentionally made the game so grindy and long, and like one of the gripes from people was like, "This shit's too fucking long, dude. Like, I just want to
If it's gonna be long, it has to be engaging.
Apparently, you have to be like max level to beat this game, the new one.
See, I see what you're saying, but I don't see other developers following that suit because nobody has ever looked at Assassin's Creed and said, we should be doing that.
No, I think that's because
I'll say it once.
Potential backlash. Like, people don't like that Assassin's Creed's doing this. This is well documented that people are like, why the fuck are you doing this? Like, this is actually
they've been going
this is pretty divisive. Actually, people are saying, some people are like, well, if I don't have time to put into Assassin's Creed to play the game for 100 hours to actually beat the campaign, then I should be able to buy this. I'm like, that's on the fucking developers for making the game 100 hours long.
Yeah.
Like, nobody should have to play that to experience a game, the single player game.
Unless
how can you follow?
Unless it's just story. If it's just story,
how can you follow a 100-hour long narrative?
I don't know.
Nobody's gonna be able to track that.
How do you follow the fucking MCU? That's how what you're saying right now is exactly how I feel about the MCU. I look at the MCU and I say, what's the fucking point? I'm never gonna have time to understand.
Specifically speaking about a game. Specifically speaking about a game is like, this is most of the time. People would like to enjoy these.
I guess
these story-driven games in like long setting, like long play times.
Right. So I think maybe I misquoted. It shouldn't be 100 hours. This is the beginning of the story. This is the end of the story.
Yeah.
It should be like 40 hours. This is the beginning of the story. This is the end of the story.
Don't hit the table because it'll fucking.
Not from all the way over here.
It will. It will.
If I was like
any knocks on the table.
Okay.
Is a bitch.
This is the beginning of the story. This 40 hours later is the end of the story.
Yeah.
And then you have post-game content.
Mm-hmm.
X number of hours, X number of hours, X number of hours. That's what people want. People want to be able to finish the game, have shit to do, but not feel like they don't have the time to finish the game.
Yeah. Well, that's what I'm saying. That's why, like the way that the new Assassin's Creed games are structured.
Well, fuck Assassin's
locking
Creed.
you.
They've been garbage since... Black Flag was the only good Assassin's Creed game.
What?
And that's because it's the only good...
Brotherhood is awesome.
It's okay. It's
just better too.
Black Flag is the only good pirate game ever made.
Fair. Sea of Thieves is boring.
So fucking boring.
Sea of Thieves is fucking
That's
boring.
another game that got a lot of hype and then just ended up being ass.
Dude, I don't know why it got so much hype. They showed us nothing.
Oh, for sure.
It was like the No Man's Sky shit.
But it was like
nothing.
You said pirates and people were like, "You got me signed up."
People are really interested in pirates. Pirate game.
I would play any game that was a good pirate game. If they were just like, if somebody said
Pirates of the Caribbean Online.
Shut the fuck up. Bethesda said we're canceling Fallout. It's gonna be pirates. Pirates only.
Elder Scrolls Online.
Yes, pirate
edition. Wait, what's the fucking? What is one of the C's in Elder Scrolls? I don't fucking play those games. I don't know.
Windermere. I don't know.
I never.
Why have I heard the name Windermere?
Windermere is a place in Elder Scrolls, but I don't know.
Are you sure it's not a place in Lord of the Rings? I get the two pretty mixed up.
They're very similar.
Yes.
Tamriel and versus what? What's the Mordor? Yeah, versus the Mordor. Yeah, it's
never got into Lord of the Rings.
Same fucking thing. They just finished wrapping on the Lord of the Rings TV show that's going to be on Amazon.
I never got into Lord of the Rings. Every time I try to watch it, I fall asleep.
Filming it.
As soon as, like, I always wondered, like, why can I never get through Fellowship of the Ring? And then I went on Netflix one day. Fellowship of the Ring is like 3.5 fucking hours long. That's a long ass movie for what it is.
It's an epic. That's for sure.
It is.
It is an epic. You got to be ready to like sit down and watch that shit.
And I'm not ready.
3.5 hours.
My body is not ready. If I'm gonna watch a 3.5 hour movie, I want it to be a standalone movie. The fact that I know that there are two more movies in the main
3 Avengers movies.
Yeah, so if I'm watching Lord of the Rings and I know I got to get through a 3.5 hour movie, then 2 more within the same main trilogy, then the Hobbit movies, and now a TV show, bro. Lynch me
no,
out.
just don't watch the Hobbit movies. I heard they sucked.
I heard they were good.
Who told you they were good?
People that I know that like Lord of the Rings.
People's biggest gripes with the Hobbit movies is that nothing happens. Like, and why would I want to watch? I know what happens.
I've never seen it, so I don't know.
You never just it's just like
I'm going to based on strictly
prequel to Lord of the Rings, but it's which Lord of the Rings is based on the Hobbit books.
Yeah, so the Hobbit is like
book.
They follow Dildo or whatever his name is. Yeah.
Dildo. All right.
Evan's Anime Corner.
All right, welcome to Evan's Anime Corner. I am here to talk about anime, and Isaac does not like anime. He's horrified by it.
I respect anime, but it scares me.
Quit tapping your fucking hand on the fucking shit.
Before you get too into this, can I just say This is the description I have. I accept anime, but it scares me, which is the same way I feel about drag. I accept it.
Oh,
good on
that's
ya.
fair. Yeah.
But it scares me. It is scary. It is scary.
I don't understand how anime is scary, but I do understand how drag.
It's just
can be scary.
the animation style just tickles me funny.
I think the theatricality of drag is what scares me.
I
think
they both cause a shrivel in my nuts, and that is just, we don't want that.
I don't know what it is. Yeah, but anyways, welcome to Evan's Anime Corner, where I talk about anime and what I'm gonna watch and what I have recently watched.
And I express my discomfort.
Recently, I have not watched anything. I've actually just not. I've only been watching the movies we've been reviewing, but and Mandalorian. But I'm gonna get back into watching Black Clover, and there's a new episode or new season of Attack on Titan, the last season of the show, that is fucking awesome and probably one of the best anime epic series of recent memory.
Now, the
that's
plural
not like
of
a shonen.
anime is actually animi. But go on.
Animes. But I'll be watching Attack on Titan Season 4 and having a brief review on the Chub of what I think about it. And Isaac will not have anything to say, nor will Jeremy. Black Clover and Attack on Titan reviews coming very soon to the Chub.
Star Wars Episode 1, Attack of the Titan.
Star Wars Episode 69.
Attack of the Chub.
Attack of the Chub. But I think that's all for this
that's
time.
All. That is. Good on you for sticking through it.
Yeah, wow. A lot of things talked about today.
Should we give a Chub review for Cyberpunk, or do you want to wait to play it?
I think that we can probably come back to this eventually.
Right. So we've done our prequel. We did our prequel Cyberpunk. Now we've done our initial our first impression. Then we can do a full impression later on.
Yeah, I think that's
fair.
That's good.
I think
discussing the
fair assessment.
The
ins and outs.
The place.
The midi-chlorians.
The lore of Cyberpunk.
Yes.
In the public eye, as you will.
There is a punk, and he is so cyber.
He's very cyber. Much more cyber than the score for Blade Runner.
No.
But yeah, that's all for the Chub this week. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. And
full Chubs ahead.
Chub out.